Ever since Grindr started operating, tons of people from the LGBTQ+ community have flooded the app, looking for relationships, friendships, or other types of encounters. Today we bring you the story of one person who took advantage of the app for malicious purposes. Omoruyi Uwadiae, the Grindr Sextortionist. Welcome to Digital Defenders. My name, as usual, is Milo Brooks. Today with me is Ava Ferreira. You might remember Ava from our first ever episode. She's a true and undeniable expert at investigating and solving sextortion cases. Her never-ending curiosity made us bring her back after she found a truly alarming case of the Grindr Sextortionist.
Thank you for having me here, Milo. So yes, as you mentioned, we're going to be talking about Omoruyi Uwadiae. He was a 28-year-old man. He committed acts of extortion for money and content. He lives in USA, Chicago, and he was arrested in Washington State.
What kind of people he was looking for?
He was targeting mostly male young adults between the ages of 17 to 36. Most of them were gay, bisexual. He had over 100 plus victims.
How did he identify the people he wanted to sextort?
He used social media mostly, right? And he did approaches, initial communication via Grindr. We know he did via Snapchat, Instagram, and Facebook. And when he wanted to start the blackmail, he would use Google Voice or regular text messaging.
It's getting somebody in an even more vulnerable situation. And ultimately, that's what these individuals are looking for, is to try to expose and try to get as much information as they possibly can.
How did he gain the trust of the victims that he sought for?
Well, he would be falsely seeking for sexual encounters, right? He would do a lot of love bombing, gained through bait, and he would do a lot of fake vulnerable conversations.
Okay, that's pretty interesting, leveraging the fact that, you know, they could be vulnerable as well, opening them up for the punch. Let's call it the punch. How did he get the content from them once they trusted him?
So the victims would share it knowingly, right? Because he had already gained their trust. They would share the information knowingly, and he would also be sending them pictures that he got from the dark web.
It's a natural progression of a conversation in this kind of app, right? You tell the people you're looking for, you know, he was looking for sexual encounters, for example. They said yes, he started sharing the content, and then they shared the content willingly because they were actually interested in the fake profile that he was operating. Once he got the content, how did he blackmail them?
Well, he would play with the fair, right? Because we're talking about most gay victims here that are still in the closet. So he had a script of 55 pages that he would follow, and he would send 300 or more messages per minute, right? So he was pretty aggressive with the tactic that he used.
It is known by the FBI that he was using not only the dark web, but VPN to hide his IP address and the onion router, the Tor, to bring an extra layer of anonymity to the transaction.
And that's not always safe, because that puts you at the mercy of all kinds of people, because you don't know anyone behind what they've put up on their profile or what's on your screen. And it's just sad, you know.
How rampant would you say the cases of blackmail are?
I would say it's quite rampant. Every other day, there's a story on the internet.
Let's talk first about the money. How much money would he request? Because that's a very particular thing.
He would request up to $500. He would ask for explicit content, mostly them showing their faces, right, in order to have more leverage on them.
Now that you mentioned the face that he requested, the faces of his victims to be in the pictures and in the content itself, did he leak any victim?
Oh yes, he did. He posted to friends, family, parents, sisters. He would send directly to the contacts that he had reached to. That's why he used to ask for the Instagram, Facebook profiles, to use the contacts against the victim here.
Let's discuss some of the specific threats that he made. One of his victims, victim number 3 in the court case, Uwadiae threatened to keep multiple Grindr profiles using victim 3's name and photograph, accusing him of being racist. He manipulated victim 3 into admitting a preference for white men, threatening continued harassment. Otherwise, he was going to be leaked for being racist, right? That's terrible. Victim number 4 threatened to send nude images to victim 4's friends and family, stating he would expose him unless victim 4 engaged in conversation with him, not even in the sexual encounter. Victim 4 didn't want to talk to him, and he extorted him because of that. Talk about resentment. Victim number 5 threatened by stating he would reveal his sexuality to his family unless victim 5 either had sex with him or paid him $200. We have the opt-in extortion right here. He blackmailed victim number 6, threatening to post nude images online unless victim 6 paid him $500 in eBay gift cards and other types of gift cards. It's the opt-in extortion. This is incredible. And the fact that he actually did leverage the information of them being in the closet, it's horrifying.
How the police found the sextortionist.
Let's talk about now the investigation, his arrest as well. What can you tell us about that?
So a lot of victims came out, right, to the police, and we were able to find information on the IP addresses and the burner emails that he used. He used over 50 emails. And we worked with Grindr as well and other platforms that he was using to commit the extortions. And victims also started sharing a lot of messages, screenshot of messages that they have with him, and also messages, right?
That's pretty interesting. In court, he actually pleaded guilty. That was one of his negotiations with the attorney. He had to plead guilty. 8 counts of cyber stalking, 7 counts of extortion, 7 counts of identity misuse.
And it's embarrassing. So a lot of these people don't want to come forward and report to law enforcement, and it's just easier to pay them off, a couple $100.
Advice from the analyst on protection.
Now, you as an analyst, you have a lot of experience. You see hundreds of cases like this every day. What can you recommend the audience at home in their cell phones watching this video to stay safe, first of all?
Be patient, get to know the people online. Do not share the content with people that you don't know, because they can start using that against you. I mean, you do not know what type of criminals are out there, and you wouldn't want to be sharing your content with people that you're not sure of. So my main advice here is to be patient and get to know before you start sharing any of your information with them.
That's fantastic advice.
How to report sextortion on Grindr.
Now, in terms of Grindr, they do have security measures in the app, built in the app. How does someone report someone on Grindr?
It's pretty easy, actually. So you open Grindr, you select the red flag icon, you select report sextortion, and you submit.
That's fantastic. It's pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. And please keep it in mind. This can not only help you, but it could help others in the future prevent interacting with a potentially harmful account.
It's their job. They go to work 10 hours a day. They sit in their space with their laptop and they build fake profiles and they aim them at specific ages.
Reflection on sextortion.
Let's talk about the implications on the LGBTQ plus community, because this is a more vulnerable community. We're talking about a minority here, first of all. Second of all, there's a lot of people in the app that are still in the closet, and this was something that Omoruyi did know and leveraged to gain the most content that he could on his victims, right? He extorted more than 100 people, and these people were considered by the security settings on the app and the privacy settings as easy targets. A lot of people are being judged because they are victims. A lot of people are not being supported because of the type of crime that they were victims to. Sextortion is really new. Now, not everybody understands it, but everybody thinks that they can judge it. We have to be a little bit more supportive with people. We have to open up communications. We have to create more resources for this type of community, because there's a lot of victims. It's ever growing every year. It's growing a lot more. Once we face someone like Omoruyi, because you have faced a lot of them, what do you do?
Okay, so a lot of people think that the first act that they do is block the content, right? Because they're scared. But we don't recommend blocking it because there's a bigger threat of exposure, right? Because the suspect is going to get mad because he is not getting what he needs, which is the money or more content, right? We always recommend to seek for help, contact a professional in order for them to do a full investigation and put a stop to this. And keep records, right? Don't delete conversations, keep the records so we can better assist when doing an investigation about this. And try to use safe apps. right? Well-known apps, and secure yourself. As I said before, right? Do not share any content, and limit personal exchanges, right? Don't share your address. If possible, don't use your real names in these type of apps.
How to fight sextortion.
Now, we talked about safety already. Let's go to protection. Let's go to fighting. Whenever someone is being blackmailed, what should they do?
Well, first of all, do not block them, right? You run a risk of being exposed even faster. Seek for help. Always look for professionals to run an investigation, find out who exactly is who is behind this, right? And use secure platforms to start engaging with new people, right? To meet people. And be cautious of who you're sharing your personal information with, right? Once again, be patient and do not rush into sharing your content or personal information.
There's another step to this, and it is the timing, right? Not everybody has 2 years, 5 years, 10 years that it takes for cybercrime units, the FBI, local police departments to find these victims. Some victims have minutes, hours, or even days. That's where we come in. That's where digital forensics comes in. What would someone get if they called you, an analyst?
Well, we customize strategies. What's the best approach for us to engage with the suspect here? We do IP tracking to find out where they're located, what devices they're using, serial number of their browsers, right? And we send cease and desist letters in order for the suspect to understand that we have the victim covered. If they're going to go try and expose them, we can put a stop to it. We do a detailed report of all the information that we found on the suspect, what devices, as I said, and we have 99% effectiveness on most of the cases that we manage.
That is pretty fantastic. What you guys are doing in that department is amazing. I mean, catching these guys as fast as you guys do it, it's such a support for victims. I want to thank you, first of all, for expanding your topic on the LGBTQ+ community. I'm sure a lot of people are watching this and thanking you for this. If you have any questions for Ava, even, you can drop it in the comments. She will happily answer your questions in the comments below. You can also subscribe to the channel if you like the content. If you want more tips, tricks, or advice, you can subscribe to the channel today. Thank you very much again for coming to the show.
You can look us up at digitalforensics.com or give us a call at 800-849-6515.
Fantastic. That is brilliant. This was Digital Defenders. My name is Milo Brooks. This is Ava Ferreira, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much.